Kal Kadosh, Boker Or, Masechet, Bava Metzia Daf, Daled Amud Aleph, 4A1. We are going to be learning today about, again, the continuation of what we were speaking about last time. And the Gemara says as follows. We were trying to find out about the difference between Tuedim and Hoda'at Atzmo. If you remember, the last thing that we mentioned was that when a person comes and he admits with his own mouth, there's no such thing as Hachashan Hazama. Right? When you do have Tuedim, there is a Hachashan Hazama. Hachasha is going to be when you have two witnesses that they come and they have counter evidence, which means my word against your word. And Hazama means is that when two witnesses come and say, hey, how did you testify about that? You were with us in Honolulu. So therefore that's called Hazama, which means that there are two different forms of disproving, right, the testimony. Right? One of them is completely counter, right, testimony, which means two people say he killed, two people say he didn't kill, but they didn't say that these two witnesses were somewhere else. They could have been there, but you just testified about A, and we're just saying, no, it didn't happen about B. And, sorry, thank you. And the other one is going to be about Hazama, that you guys weren't even there, so what are you guys testifying about? Now we're going to go to the next part, which is basically to do with one witness. And says the Gemara, Male Echad, what about one witness? Sheken al mashu me'id hu nishba. You remember we said, this is how we finished last time. We said, when you come and you bring one witness, that one witness cannot take out money, but it could obligate a shavua. It could obligate an oath. But that oath is going to be on that which he's testifying. Right? So for example, one witness comes and he says, you did borrow. And you borrowed $50. When you're going to swear about the $50. Right? That means what he testified, that's what you're swearing. You're saying, no, I didn't do that. Okay, so swear. However, though, Tomar Be'edim, when you come and you have two witnesses, right? She'al ma shekafaru nishba. Right? On that which you are not admitting to, right? That's what you're going to be swearing. Okay? So one more time. When you have a shivua, how can you learn the concept of oath of two witnesses obligating from an oath from one witness? He says it's completely different. The shivua of one witness, right? When this guy is coming and making you swear, right? The ed is mechayev on, that means the testimony, this witness is obligating you to swear on the money that he's talking about. But how could you say that to do with the concept of witnesses, right? When you have miksat ta'ana, that he's actually coming and he's saying, Al Masekafaru Nishba. So I'll give you the examples, that way it just makes it very, very clear. One more time. You have a person comes to Bedin and he says, listen, my friend John Doe, he owes me money. You owe me $100. He says, what are you talking about? Zero. Right? Remember, if he would have admitted to part of the claim, right, he would obviously be obligated a shivua. Okay? But he didn't admit. He said zero. One witness comes in and says he owes him let's say the $100 or the $50, whatever it is. One witness comes in. When one witness comes in, he obligates him a shivua. But that shivua is about the $50. When two witnesses come in and they say that he doesn't owe him $100, they owe him $50. So it's not the 100, it's the 50. In such a case, when he comes and he says that the two witnesses come in and say that he owes him the $50, he also has to swear. But not on the 50 that he owes.
He's already dead on that.
On the 50 that he doesn't, meaning that the 50 that he's rejecting. So there's a big difference between the testimony of one witness and the testimony of two witnesses. The one witness is obligating you the oath, the shivua, on that which you're chayav, right? And the two witnesses are obligating you a shivua on that which you're rejecting, on the extra 50. Okay, so there's a huge difference between the two different cases. So answers the Gemara, Elamar of Papa, but rather of Papa comes and he says, Ati mi gilgul shavua de ed echad. You're right. The Kal Vachomer is coming from a gilgul shavua from one witness. What does that mean? We know many times there's a concept of gilgul shavua. Gilgul shavua means once you're already obligated to shavua on this, what I'm going to come and I'm going to tell you is do a shavua on something else. Because you're already chayav a shivua. So you know what? You roll it over. What is gilgul? You're rolling it over. You're rolling over the shivua to something else. So therefore we're going to say like this. If one witness, he doesn't have the koach to obligate money, but still he could come and obligate a shivua on the money, right? So he comes and he says two witnesses that they do have they can obligate money, kal v'chomer, that their testimony should be able to help, right? And that it should actually help in the entire concept of that it's considered like modem miktzat, that they're obligated to do a shivua. So that's what we're learning it. We're not learning it directly from one witness. We're learning it from a gilgul shivua so we're just saying. For example, right? I come and I tell you something, whatever the testimony is. I come and I tell you something. Now you're not obligated to shivua, right? Why? You rejected it 100%. But now you're obligated to shivua because of another aspect. I could come and say, you know what, Richard, beforehand, I couldn't obligate you an oath. But now that you're already obligated an oath on B, when you're making the oath on B, I throw in the A as well. Even though the A...
What is A?
I went and I told you owe me $100. Another case. Right? I told you owe me $100. You told me zero. You're not obligated to shivua. I can't obligate you to shivua. I don't have witnesses. I don't have nothing. But now if I come and I have to obligate you on something else, there's something which is called gilgul shivua, that I come and say, you know what, if you're already making a shivua on that, throw in A as well. That's called gilgul shivua. I'm rolling over the shivua, that if you're already making a shivua on that, do the shivua on the other thing as well. Okay? So now it says the Gemara, Ma legilgul shivua de'ed echad, sheshivua goreret shivua, tomar be'edim demamon kamechayve. He comes and he says like this. He says, 1 second, what's going on exactly? When we're talking about the entire concept of gilgul shivua, of one witness, yeah, we're talking about, right, that, so he comes and he says, a shivua is causing another shivua, right, through the gilgul. So therefore, if you're going to come now tell me the koach of one witness does not help to obligate the first shivua, right, on that he's doing it, tomar be'edim temamon kamechayve. So we're talking about the edim, that they are obligating money. So it comes out that it's not as if to say the shivua is causing another shivua. It's something completely different. So one more time, this concept is that when you had the one witness, yeah, this one witness comes and he's making it a modeh b'miktzat, correct? The guy comes and he says, I am obligated to pay 0. The one witness comes and he obligates him a shivua. Once he obligates him a shivua on the first 50, now with gilgul shivua, you want to come and you want to say, swear on the second 50, right? That's what we're trying to do over here. He says, but you can't say that by two witnesses, because the two witnesses, they're already obligating money. So therefore, once they're obligating money, right, it's something completely different over here. So answers the Gemara, piv yochiach, his own mouth is going to be a proof, right? And it's going to be as if to say that it's not a question on the kal v'chomer. Why? Because when a person comes and he admits to part of it, he's going to be mechayev a shivua on the part which he's not chayav. Meaning like this. One more time. I come and I say, you owe me $100. You come and you tell you 50. When you have to swear, you're swearing on the other 50 that you're not chayav. On the 50 that you're chayav, nobody's talking about, because I told you you're chayav 100, you admitted to 50, on that for sure you're going to pay. What's a shivua? The shivua is on the other half. So therefore, that's going to be a proof that it's not a question against the kal v'chomer. So ask the Gemara the same question that we asked before. Ma lefiv sheken eno be'achasha. Remember, what was the difference between your own admittance and witnesses? The difference is that when you admit to something, there's no such thing as hachasha or hazama. Hachasha means that there's not going to be an evidence which is used against you. If you're the litigant and you yourself, you admit to something, that's like 100 witnesses, because you yourself are admitting to it. So there's nothing what to talk about. So says the Gemara, ma lefiv sheken eno be'achasha. How are you going to tell me that we want to learn from your own mouth? That just like by your own mouth, when you come and you're admitting to part of it, to a partial claim, you have to vow. And what is your vow? Your vow is going to be on what you're not chayav, meaning your vow is not on the 50 that you admitted to. Your vow is going to be in the 50 that you didn't admit to. So therefore we came and we said, how do you learn from that? He says over there's never going to be a chasha. Nobody could come and reject that. You are the litigant. You are the one. Witnesses, we could come and say, listen, you know what? You're saying A, I'm saying B. We could find conflictory evidence. We could find something which is going to be against that. With your own mouth, you can't do that. So answers the Gemara, fine. Ed echad yochiach, right? The ed echad is going to be a proof. Why? He obligates shivua, v'yeshno b'chasha. And there does exist the concept of a chasha, v'mechayev shivua, and he's going to obligate a shivua. So says the Gemara, okay, fine. Ma le'edechad sheken al ma shemeidu nishba, tomar beidim shal ma shekafaru nishba. Again, you can't compare one witness to two witnesses. Because one witness on that, what are you swearing? You're swearing on that which you were obligating. One more time. I come in and say, you owe me 100. You tell me 0. There's no shivua. I bring one witness. Then what one witness is going to obligate you now, not on the other 50, on this 50 that the one witness is telling you about. Not on the extra money.
Did I admit to that?
No, you admitted to 0. You said 0. That's why there was no shivua. I brought one witness. That one witness now calls you a shivua. But on what? Only on the first 50. The 50 that the one witness is talking about. Not on the other 50 that you were still rejecting. But when you have two witnesses, right, the first 50, they obligate you to pay. There's no question that you have to pay the first 250. Right. You're only swearing on the second 50 because of the two witnesses. So the Gemara is asking the same question again. It's like a galgal chozer. It's like a circle that we keep on saying the same questions, right? But that's what we're trying to do. We come and we say, right? How are you comparing? There are three different concepts. There's your own admittance. There's one witness, and then there's two witnesses. Remember, on your own admittance, the second you admit to part of the claim, you're obligated to shivua. Automatically, you're obligated to shivua. Whenever it's going to be one witness, you're obligated also a shivua, right? But remember, that case, obviously, you had to say 0, because if not, anyway, you would already have a shivua. But that one witness, when he obligates you a shivua, it's only on that which he's talking about, which is the first 50 that he said that you're a chayav.
And you say
right?
you don't know.
And you say you don't know 0, zilch, right? The two witnesses is the third case. They obligate you the money. That means if they said 50, it's 50. They said 30, 30, 70, 70. When they're obligating the shivua, it's going to be on the additional, on the difference between what they said what was the true case and what you were asking for.
And if it's the total amount, 100, then there's nothing to talk about.
Exactly. Obviously.
Then
there's no shivua. Obviously, here we're talking about the two edim said less. Because if not, then there's no shivua, there's nothing. Right? We don't make you a shivua. If two edim come and say, you owed $100,
finish.
Come on, that's it. There's nothing to talk about. Pay the $100 and that's it. Right? There's no shivuot, there's no nothing here. Okay? So says the Gemara, how do you compare to one witness? Sheken al masher meidu lishba. He's only making him swear on that which you're already testifying about. But you're not going to say that by two edim, that al masher kafaru lishba, that you're actually swearing on that which you're saying no, on that which you're rejecting. And so the Gemara, piv yochiach v'chazar adin. This is called a binyan av. A binyan av is not a kal v'chomer. A kal v'chomer means if I could carry 20 kilos, so for sure I could carry 10 kilos. That's called a kal v'chomer. Okay? Kal, something light, from something which is much stricter. If I could carry 20, for sure I could carry 10. The problem with the kal v'chomer is many times is if I find a type of a question which goes against a kal v'chomer, I just refuted the kal v'chomer. So now what I do is I make a binyan av. A binyan av is basically common denominators. I put common denominators between them, which means even though on each one I could come and I could ask a question, and then I could refute what's called the kal v'chomer, when I put the common denominator, right, all of a sudden now I cannot come and I could refute it. So the Gemara is going to explain it. And the Gemara says like this, Lo reizeh k'reizeh, ve'lo reizeh k'reizeh. This, by the way, happens all throughout Shas. Okay, this happens all the time. Okay, which means like this, the hodat piv, right, is not the same, meaning your own admittance is not the same as one witness, and the one witness is not the same as the hodat piv, as the admittance. What does that mean? There's a chumrah in hodat piv, right, which is not going to be contradicted with hachashat adin, right? What is it? Because there's no such thing as hachasha by your own mouth. Meaning when you admit to something, there's no such thing that somebody could contradict you. You are the litigant. If you yourself, you admit to it, kamarnu, there's nothing to talk about, right? But that you don't have it by one witness. But the stringency by one witness is that what the shivua is on what he's testifying about. When you're making the hodat peh, it's not like that. Okay, so therefore each tzad is not the same. Okay, but there's a tzad shaveh shemenem. There's a common denominator between them. What's the common denominator between them? Between basically modemi miktzat, right, of Hodat Piv and also Ed Echad, meaning one witness, and that you're admitting, Shalidet Ta'ana Ukfida, that when you come and you say your, how do you say Ta'ana in English? Your claim. When you're coming, you're making your claim, and then you reject, which is basically Ta'ana Ukfida. You have a claim, that means one person's claiming, I'm claiming that you owe me the 100. The other person rejecting, he's saying it's 0. Hen Ba'in, they're coming for it. Venishba, and he's going to swear for both of them. Afani avi edim, so therefore I'm going to come and I'm going to bring also witnesses. Venishba, and therefore he's going to come and he's going to swear, which means like this. Each one has a stringency and a leniency. The stringency, right, by the Hodat Piv is that when you come and you do Hodat al Piv, nobody could, which means your admittance, nobody could ever come to interject. Why? The second you admitted to something, that's it. Nobody could come and say, no. Well, you just admitted to it, you're wrong. Well, you're wrong. You yourself, you said it. Well, you're not wrong. You could have another witness that could come and contradict you on something else, but on what you already admitted, right? That's something different. Meaning like this. Imagine right now, I come to Medina and I said, Richard, you owe me $100. Richard says, I only owe you 50. Yeah? And then Michelle comes as a one witness and he says, Richard only owes 30. He still has to pay me 50. Even though there's one witness. And the reason why is because the second that he admitted himself that he owes me 50, he has to pay me 50. There's nothing that could contradict that. Because that's what... Now, again, if the witness would have said he owes me 70, that's something different.
This is in court. He's
which one?
admitting in court, correct?
Obviously. We're talking about in Bedin, right? So there, if he's going to say 70, that's something different. Because then it would obligate you in a Shivua on 70, right? Until now, when he just told me 50, he has to pay the 50, right? But he's going to make a swear. He's going to make a vow. So that's called hachasha. So one more time. By your own admittance, there's no such thing as hachasha. By an ed echad, there is such thing as hachasha. Because another witness could come and say, what are you talking about? It wasn't 50, it was 20. Right? Or what? So that's called hachasha. Hachasha is conflicting evidence. Right? One word against another word. That's called hachasha. Okay? Hazama is like imanu ayitem, you were with us, which means that you completely uproot the testimony whatsoever, that it was impossible for you to testify. Hachasha means, right? Yes. Hazama, achasha is that we have somebody that's lying, but we don't know who it is. It's conflicting evidence. But hazama is, there's nothing here. You guys were in Honolulu. What are you guys saying that you guys were in Miami? Right? You couldn't have testified at all. So it's worthless what you're saying. And that's when we do kasher zaman, that whatever they plan to do, they get. V'chulu, v'chulu, v'chulu. Okay? Yeah, that's edim zomim. That's edim zomim. So now it says the Gemara, I'm going to take the common denominator, and I'm also going to ask a question against the common denominator. Listen to this. What about the common denominator? Sheken lu'uchzak kafran, that he's not going to be muhzak like a kafran, right? Meaning, when a person comes and he's going to be modeh al ha'emet, or even when one witness comes and he testifies against him, it will never make him into a person that's a kafran, which means it'll never make him into a person that rejects or a liar.
Can't be a witness.
Right? So one witness will never make him into a liar. Okay, he'll obligate him a shivua, but that's it. So he says, Tomar be'edim sheken uchsa kafran. The second you have two witnesses, he's already a kafran. He's already a liar. Meaning, one more time, when a person comes and he says, Mordechai, you owe me $100, and he tells me 0, or he tells me 50. Let's get it better first. Let's start with 50. When he tells me 50, is he a liar? No. I obligate him a shavua. V'gamarnu, that's it. Can I go around afterwards, without the demons? He's a liar. No. Why? Maybe he's not a liar. Right? He even made a shavua. Okay.
Unless it's a deposit.
If it's one witness, right? The same thing. One witness comes and he says, Mordechai, but you do owe 50. So he makes him make a shavua. Can now we go around saying that he's a liar? No, still not. But when you have two witnesses, they said it was 50, they already obligated money. And now they're obligating a shavua on the next 50. Meaning, he's already a liar. The second that there's two witnesses... Oh, okay, fine.
What do you mean? Wait a second.
He's already...
even though he admits to 50, he's a liar?
Which one?
He admits to 50, he's a liar?
No, on his own admittance, or one witness, he's not a liar. Two witnesses, he's a liar. Because of the first 50...
And he can't be a witness anymore?
No, because they just made him into a liar for sure. Because you have two witnesses that he's a liar. Right, that's what we're saying.
That's not the way I read it.
So says the Gemara, 1 second. So says the Gemara, ubedim Miuchzak kafran. He says, one second. Maybe this is what he probably cheated. He probably went ahead. But so he says, one second. When you have two witnesses against him, you already made him a liar. Is that true? The Amar Rav Idi Bar Avin says Rav Idi Bar Avin in the name of Chasta, Hakofer b'milve kasher le'edut. If somebody comes and he goes against a milve alone, he's still going to be kosher for edut. Meaning, I'm not going to say that he's pasul le'edut, right? Only by a pikadon he becomes pasul le'edut, but not by a milve. Which means now the Gemara comes and it says it's not true. Why? Because even if you have two witnesses, it doesn't make him into a liar. So what are you talking about then? Okay? So says the Gemara, you're right. Ela parichachi. We're going to ask another question then. Ma le'atzad ha'shaveh shebahen. Right? What about the tzad ha'shaveh shebahen? Sheken enan betorat hazama. It's not going to be betorat hazama.
Because if it's not subject to hazama, it's not testimony.
Yes. What does that mean exactly? If you cannot come and make them into edim zomim, right? So then what's going on then? He says both of them, there's no hazama, right? Because there's no such thing as making hazama by the litigant himself, by modeh b'miktzad, meaning that he's admitting on himself, and there's no such thing as hazama by one witness, right? You need two witnesses. So how can you come and say that to do with the concept of hazama? If you remember, that's what we kept on saying, that the difference between one witness and admittance was hachasha. Hachasha, we said, was one witness, there exists hachasha. Hachasha means conflicting evidence, right? But by yourself, it doesn't exist conflicting evidence. Because the second that you admit to something, kaddish, there's nothing to talk about. But we never spoke about hazama, because hazama is only by two witnesses. So answers the Gemara, and remember, the reason why we're trying to ask this question is because once I ask a question against a common denominator, so then I cannot use this common denominator to include two witnesses. I use the common denominator to include whether it's the litigant himself or one witness. But now we're talking about two witnesses. So says the Gemara, hala kashya, it's not a question, right? Why? We have Rabbi Chia, right? The Rabbi Chia, he's going to say that there's a tzad ha'shaveh to obligate the shua by two witnesses. Torat hazama lo parich. It's not considered a question. Why? Because since the hazama helps to levatel edut ed echad, just like it helps to be mevatel two edim, right? There's no koach, right? That's what we're saying. The power of the nemanut is greater, right, than the two of them. So therefore, the fact that you just can't punish them is just something else. But it doesn't change anything. Meaning like this. There's no hazama. There's no hazama in the fact that I can't punish. But there is hazama in the fact that I could actually stop you from making your testimony and I could disprove you. Ella, but rather, the kamar vetana tuna. But rather to do this, the Tana is coming and teaching me, Dami, can you compare both cases with this with Rav Chia? Hatam lemalve it lesade. There, the lender, he's got witnesses. Lelove le lesade de lo masik le velomide. The borrower does not have anything that's actually helping out, right? So he says, Di havu lesade lelove de lo masik le velomide. Because if the love would have had witnesses that he actually doesn't know anything, Lo by Rav Chia lishtibueh. So Rav Chia doesn't say that you would have to actually come and swear. Hacha, but here in our case, of our Mishnah, when you have two witnesses, right, when you have two people coming in with the same talit, ki hechidan and sadeh bayan and sadeh, we have the same two witnesses on both. Vafilu achi mishtabeh, and still they're going to come and they're going to make a vow. So you see from here that it's not because of the entire concept of miktzat ta'ana, like Rav Chia, right? Because there's no obligation bichlal to come and do anything, but rather it's a takenah chachamim that nobody's just going to come and grab somebody's object and then that's it. So that's why they obligate shivua. So says the Gemara, you're right. Elaki itmar vetana tuna. So when did the Tana come and teach this? Aidach de Reb Chia itmar, on another Reb Chia. Ta'amar Reb Chia, but Reb Chia comes and he says, Mani li biyadcha vehala omer en li biyadi ela 50 zuz vehelach. Right? Imagine right now I come to and I say, listen, you owe me $100. He said, no, it's only 50. Here, take it. And he gives him the $50. So he's going to be chayav a shivua. Why? Modeh b'mitzat. He admitted to part of it. Remember the partial admittance. My tama. What's the reasoning why? He comes and he says, Helach nami ke modeh b'mitzat atana adami. He says also in this case where he's actually paying it up, it's also considered modeh b'mitzat. Because even though in the case of helach, which means that you're actually coming and you're giving it to him, he's still coming and he's admitting to half of it. So therefore, according to Rabbi Chia, we're not going to say that he's like kilu already machzik. He is already like he has it in his hands. No, But even the elach is like any type of mudeh b'mitzat, meaning like this. The regular case of the admittance was, I come and I tell you, you owe me 100. He comes and goes 50. Did he actually pay him the 50 yet? Nothing. Nothing was done yet. Here, the difference is I come and I say, no, it was only 50, here it is. He already gives it to him.
What's the difference?
So that's called muhsak. Muhsak means that when he's already giving it to him, he's paying him off now. Now, if he's paying him off, there's no more anymore modeh b'mitzat. He finished the deal. So now kilu he owes nothing. Says the Gemara, no, he's still considered modeh b'mitzat. Meaning, even though he gave him the money, right? Even though he gave him the money, he's still going to be obligated to shavua.
By giving him the money? Nothing.
That's what we're saying. But we thought that maybe by accomplishing is that if he already comes out, I paid you off everything. That's it. Now I owe you nothing. So if I owe you nothing, I don't have to make a shavua anymore. One more time, right? If I would have paid you the 50, right, before coming to Beddin, I would have paid you the 50. Okay? Now you come to Beddin and you say, listen, you owe me 50. I tell you, I owe you 0. Do I have to make a shavua? No.
1 second. Does he have witnesses?
No. Meaning, it wouldn't have been considered a modeh b'mitzat. What's modeh b'mitzat? Modeh b'mitzat means admittance. No, admittance. The modeh b'mitzat means I'm partially admitting. When I come to Medina, I say, you owe me 100. You tell me 50, that's a partial admittance. But if I'm going to come and I'm going to say, you owe me 100, no, it's 50 and here it is, we thought that maybe the fact that you're coming saying, here it is, here's the 50, you close the case. Now you don't even have to do a shivua anymore. Because if I would have paid you the 50 before coming to Bedin, and now you come to Bedin and say, you owe me 50. I say, I owe you 0. Do I have to swear? No.
Interesting. So interesting.
That's what I would have said. That's why the helach means here's the money. I would have thought to say that it's kinu that you close the case. Once you close the case, it's not a partial admittance anymore. And therefore you don't have to swear. Comes out? No, it's still considered partial admittance. Okay? So Ivitana Tuna, and we're actually going to say Shnaim Ochazim Betalit, right? When you have two people that are coming and they're going, which is our Mishnah. Our Mishnah is two people grabbing the talit, right? That's our Mishnah, starting from Bava Metzia Daf, right of Bet Mudal.
Where are the witnesses?
Right? So what happens? Hechal over here, Kevan the Tafi, since each one is grabbing onto it, Anan Sade the Maitafat Tafi is Helachu. So Kilu, each one of them is actually grabbing on. It's like it's his, right? And still we learned Yeshava. Okay. So now Rav Sheshat is going to come and he's going to say, Helach be'emet is patur. 1 second. Helach, he comes and he says, you're patur. According to the Shita of, right, Rav Sheshat, he argues, right, on what we just said now, Rabbi Chia, and he says, if you come and you say, I only owe you 50, and here it is, you're patur from a shavua. Not like we just said. It was before it was Rav Chia, now we're on Rav Sheshat. My tama, what's the reasoning? Kevan da Elmaleh, once he says helach, hanezuze de kamodi begavayu keman denaki lehu mal vedami. The second that he says here it is, it's kilu that the malve already has it. So therefore the malve is only asking for 50 zuz. Now the other 50, he's not modeh at all. It's like 0. Meaning that was the hava meaning that I told you before. Meaning like this. When I come and I tell you, no, I don't owe you 100, I only owe you 50 and here it is. When I actually give it to him, it's kilu that now the malve already has it. If he already has it, so 1 second, what is he claiming? He's claiming 50. But on the 50, how much am I admitting to? 0. So if I'm admitting to 0, bemet, I don't have to swear. And that's exactly what we're doing. Right? Halomodi. Hirkach, therefore, lekahoda b'mitzat tana, there's nothing there. So ask the Gemara, ur Rav Sheshat, but according to Rav Sheshat, kasha matnitin, you have a question on Mishnah. Because our Mishnah, we wanted to say it's considered like here it is. Because the two witnesses are coming at the same time, and they're both saying, right, that it's theirs, and they both have it in their hands. What's going on? So he says, no. Our Mishnah is a special case. Why is our Mishnah a special case? He says because it's a Takanat Chachamim, which means it's not because of the Edim, of Miktzat Ta'ana, and all that, completely different things. We do not want, right? We do not want, what is going to be the Takanat Chachamim? We already said, we do not want people to come and start grabbing things from their friends. Imagine right now, I just did this.
Yeah.
This is mine. Now, if you're not going to obligate me a shavua, right, that's going to be a big problem. Because I'm just going to grab whatever I want.
Enactment for public policy.
Public policy. Meaning that we wanted to do something, but it's not because of the witnesses or not witnesses. Nothing to do with it. It was a special takana that we do not want that everyone will just grab somebody else's and then they're coming into Bedin, both grabbing onto something. We don't want that. But it's a different case. So says the Gemara, ve'idach, ve'idach, and the other shita, which is going to be Rabbi Chia, in yes, it is takana chachamim, umiu amarta bishlama, you are going to say that midoraita hela chayav, which means that midoraita, he's going to be chayav. Mitakne Rabbanan Shavua ken doraita. And therefore, the Rabbanan are going to make a Shavua doraita. Elayamar midoraita helach patur. But if you're going to tell me now that the midoraita it's going to become patur, mitakne Rabbanan Shavua deleta dechvata beoraita. So therefore, he comes and he says, right, like this, right? We're going to say, what did we just say until now? We just said that according to Shitat Rabbi Chia, right? He says you're right. It is a takana chachamim. Because that was the entire thing that we said before. It was Takana Chachamim. You're right. It is a Takana Chachamim. However, though, right, Midin Torah, right, when a person is going to be obligated to Shavua Midin Torah, for example, a Shavua Modeh B'Mitzat, that comes from the Torah, right? The Shavua is going to be even in a case of here it is. That's what he's saying. Okay? And therefore, our Mishnah, right, is going to be answered. Why? The rabbis, they went and they only made an institution, right, when it's going to be like the Doraita, which means like this: rabbis do not come and it's like they have nothing what to do, so they come and they start saying, you know what, let's do this and let's do that. They have a Doraita, and once they have a Doraita, they come and they say, you know what, let's try to make an enactment which is similar to the Doraita, and that's what the rabbis do always. It's always based upon something that is from the Torah, and they come and they want to safeguard it, or they want to come and they want to say they want to make sure that the Doraita is always going to be taken care of. So therefore, he comes and he says like this. He says, if you're going to tell me that our Mishnah, right, is going to be the Helach, which means that it's Kilu considered that you're already giving it back, because that's what they're doing, just like by the case of the money. He says, no, it's 50, but here's the money back. So therefore, it's beautiful then, because that means that the rabbis did make it, meaning everybody agrees that it's a Takana Chachamim in our Mishnah. Even Rabbi Chia, everybody agrees. So if it's a Takana Chachamim then,
in
right?
our Mishnah?
In our Mishnah is also Takana Chachamim. Everybody agrees to that, even Rabbi Chia. Okay? But again, one more time. Rav Sheshat came and he said that the case of the I only owe you 50 and here's the money, he's patur from a Shavua. We asked, what about the Mishnah? So he said, no, the Mishnah is a Takana Chachamim. It's a special enactment of the rabbis. You can't ask a question from the Mishnah. So says the Gemara, one second, if Bemet it's Takana Chachamim, what does Rabbi Chia do? Because Rabbi Chia wanted to say that our Mishnah is also the same type of a concept, that it's Ki'ilu, I'm admitting to it and I say, here it is, right? And that he's coming and saying, though, that you're going to be Chayav Shavua. If I come and I tell you it's only 50 and here it is. You're Chayav Shavua. So says the Rabbi Chia, I also admit that the Mishnah is a Takana Chachamim. But I hold that when do the Chachamim make a Takana? Only when it's like the Doraita. Which means that according to this, it's coming out that what is our case of our Mishnah? Also, right? You come and you tell me, right, Ki'ilu, how much is it? I come and say, it's only this, but here it is. Just like the only 50, but here it is. Right? Rashum Torah, that if a person is Modeh B'Mitzat, he's Chayav Shavua. It's written in the Torah. No. One more time. Right? In the Mishnah, there was no Modeh B'Mitzat. One more time. Let me go back. Right? One more time. The Torah comes, right? And the Torah tells us, Modeh B'Mitzat, you're Chayav Shavua. That comes from the Bible. You know what the Bible is? Bible. Right? It comes from the Torah. So in the Torah, it's written Modeh B'Mitzat Chayav right now. The question is, what is the halacha when I come and I say, here I'm Modeh B'Mitzat, but I say, here it is. I give the money right away. I say, it was only 50. Here's the 50. Helach. So now the question is like that. Does that mean, is that still considered Modeh B'Mitzat? That I'm admitting partially? Or is it not considered Modeh B'Mitzat? According to Rabbi Chia, that's considered Modeh B'Mitzat. I admitted partially. I'm obligated to Shavua. Even though I just paid it. According to Rav Ashi said, no, I'm sorry. When you come and you tell me that you owe me... Rav Sheshat. Right? Rav Sheshat comes and he says, I apologize. He says, when you ask me for 100 and I tell you it was 50 and here's a 50, I closed the deal. I gave it to you. That's it. You got the 50. So how much are you asking me for? An additional 50. How much am I admitting on? 0. Because I told you I owe you nothing on the extra 50. So I don't have to swear. That's Rav Sheshat. Okay? So now, on this concept of Rav Sheshat, what's going on? We have our Mishnah. According to everybody, what we're actually answering is, is that our Mishnah is an enactment of the rabbis. And therefore you cannot bring me a proof from the Mishnah, right? But Rav Chia comes and he says, when do you make such a takana? Meaning, or were the rabbis bored and they were just coming and saying, you know what? Why don't we just come and start making a whole bunch of takanot? And why don't we just come and enactments and this and that? No. Says Rabbi Chia, I'm only going to make an enactment when it's like the Doraita. Shavua modeh b'mitzat, partial admittance, is that Doraita? That's Doraita. So now, if you're going to tell me that our Mishnah is considered like the case of partial admittance, plus here it is, right? That's what we're trying to say, that our Mishnah is like that. So therefore, the Doraita is partial
like
admittance, or partial admittance, and here it is. Because that's what we're trying to say. And therefore, that's exactly, so therefore he comes and he says, that's why our Mishnah is beautiful then. It was an enactment of the rabbis, but it had to be compared to the case of the Doraita. Meitvei, so we're going to ask the following question now, right? Daladamubet, 4b. He comes and he says now like this. When we're talking about Ploni, he's going to come and he's going to borrow money from Ploni's Slaim. Meaning, stam, without actually coming and mentioning, right, dinarim, right, which means, or dinarim, right, without the amount, meaning somebody borrowed from somebody, slaim, somebody borrowed from somebody, dinarim. So imagine dollars, right, or euros, or pounds, or whatever it is. Hamal ve'omer chamesh, v'alo ve'omer shalosh, which means there's a document, but they didn't make a good document. Why? Imagine it's going to be written that Mordechai owes me, right, dollars. Yeah? Now, I want him to come with a big mizvada. Yeah? Okay, fine. So, Mordechai wants that I owe him. Fine. If it makes him feel good, let's do it. Yeah? So, we're talking about the mizvada. Yeah, we want the big mizvada. We want the luggage, with all the dollar bills, right? Now, the problem, though, is that it was only said dollars, but it didn't say how much. Or it only said euros, and it didn't say how much. Or it only said pounds, but it didn't say how much. Shkalim, but it didn't say how much. So the Malve comes and he says it was 5. And the Love comes and he says it was only 3. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says, Hoil ve'oda b'miktzat tana. Once it's modeh b'miktzat, yishava. He has to swear. Rabbi Akiva says, Eno ela kemeshiva veda upatur. No, this is not considered modeh b'miktzat. You know what this is? This is considered, I could have told you even 2. So right, because basically the document does not really show you anything. Because if it's not written the amount in the document, it's a kilu, there's nothing here. So therefore, the fact that I'm telling you 3 instead of 2 or 3 instead of 1, I'm actually doing a shavat aveda. I'm giving you back a lost object. And since I'm giving you back a lost object, I don't even need to swear. Nothing. I don't need to swear. I come and I tell you 3, come on. Hamishiva aveda. So Ktani miyat, we did learn though. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says, once he's going to be modern, part of it, he's going to be swearing. Tama, the reasoning why is because he said 3. Right? Ha shtaim. What happens if he would have said 2? He's going to be patur from the Shavua. Right? Which means that Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar is only coming and saying that it's going to be chala Shavua. So why did he say dafka 5 and 3? Maybe it's 5 and 2. So hay shtar the kamodi bay, the money which is going to say it's written, right, in the shtar, that it's minimum 2. It's written minimum 2 in the shtar. Because when you said slaim or dinarim, that's plural. So it has to be minimum 2. Right? So I could have said 2. But the second that I said 3, it's considered that I'm giving you back a lost object. So heilachu, so this is considered like heilachu. That here, take it. Ushma mina heilach patur. So we're learning from here that it's going to be heilach, is going to be patur. Not like Rav Chia, but rather like Rav Sheshat.
When you're paying right away the 50, he wants to compare it to that? No.
Of course.
That's what it is.
That's helach. Helach is, I only owe you 50, here it is. Helach just means take it, here it is.
Compared to
So it's not a shavat avda, but it's like the concept of that once I'm coming and I'm doing this, I'm not obligated to you anymore. The shavat avda was the other case. The shavat avda was the case of the 3, right, and the 5, because I'm adding something extra that you could have never proven against me. You had a document saying that I owe you dollars. Now minimum of dollars means 2. You come and you said, really Bemet, I lent him 5. I come and I say I only borrowed 3. So the fact that I added on to the 2 it's considered Hashavat Aveda. Why is it considered Hashavat Aveda? Because technically speaking, I could have said 2. You would never be able to do anything about it. There's a document, and the document just says dollars. It doesn't say how much. So therefore, the fact that I'm going to come and I'm going to say that it's 3, I'm doing Hashavat Aveda. Now, says the Gemara, but in such a case, right, when you come and you're going to say, right, the entire concept, whether it's the 2 or the 3, it's like Helach, it's like here it is. Because I already have a document that's telling me that I owe you 2. So therefore, if I'm going to come and I'm going to do that, he comes and he says the shtar is already my document. The shtar is the minimum of the 2, so therefore it's considered here it is. So now if it's going to be here it is, it comes out that the helach be'emet is going to be patur from a shavua, and you don't need to do anything. So answers the Gemara, no. Le'olam ha'melecha, really be'emet, I'm going to tell you that if you only admit to 2, you're going to be chayav a shavua, because it's modeh b'mitzat. Ve'hai dektani shalosh, so why do we learn 3? La'puke med Rabbi Akiva, to exclude from Rabbi Akiva, the Amar that he says, Meshiva Vedahavi, that it's considered Meshiva Veda, Patur, and you're going to be Patur. Kamashmalan comes teach you, that it is considered Mitzat, and you're going to be Chayav. So says the Gemara, Ihachi, if you're going to tell me that means really Be'emet, I'm going to tell you that even if it was going to be, you were going to admit to 2, you're still going to be Chayav. So why do we learn 3? To exclude Rabbi Akiva, that he just says it's Meshiva Veda. So he comes and he says, Ihachi, if so, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, according to Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, he says, "Hoil v'oda b'mitzat tanava yishava, af ze yishava min ba'ale." Not that it's since he was modeh b'mitzat tanava, he's going to swear. He says also in this case he should swear, right? Not only in the case of 2, even in the case of 3, he should swear.
What's the difference between 2 and 3?
Because 2, you have the document as a proof.
But then the amount is not
3,
stated in the document.
But when you say dinarim in plural
It
or
has to be a
slayim,
minimum
it has to be a
of 2.
minimum of 2. So when you say 2, the document itself is already the proof against you. When you say 3, I'm now doing you a favor because you can never obligate more than 2. So when I'm doing 3, I'm giving you back a lost object.
But didn't it say dinarim and something else?
Yeah, dinarim and slayim.
Slayim.
It's like dollars and euros, right? Or dollars and pounds, or dollars and shkalim. But again, it's always plural, but it didn't mention the amount. And that's why we're making a differentiation between the 2 and the 3. Because the 2 is already obligated mitzad the shtar, from the document.
Right.
The 3 is the extra. So that's what we're saying. So that's what he's saying. He's saying here, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar comes and he says, in this case also, since he's modeh b'mitzat, he should say, not only in the case of 2, also in this case of 3, you should still swear, because it's to be considered modeh b'mitzat. So the answer is the Gemara, Ela leolam, but rather really, he says, Shtayim patur. Really, be'emet, when you admit to 2, right, you're going to be patur from the shavua. Ve'helach chayav, but still when you come and you say helach, which means, right, you're still going to be chayav. Ve'shani hacha, it's different over here. Here you have a proof of a document, and that's why it's different. Meaning, when do we speak about the entire case beforehand, right, of everything? We were speaking about in a case where there's no shtar. So you can't compare a case where there is a document, there's no document. It's 2 different halachot. Okay? So says the Gemara, another answer. Inami, or if you want, you can answer another answer. Mishum davel shtar shiabud karkaot. This is a shtar, which is basically a shibud karkaot, right? Which means that there's a lien on a property. Ve'ena nishpaim al kfirat shibud karkaot. And you're never going to swear on the right. You're never going to make a shavua on the rejection of something which has a lien on property. So therefore, that's what we're trying to say over here. Since it's not going to be, you're not going to be obligated this shavua, that's why we're going to come and we're going to say that you can't compare it to the case of the helach that we regularly spoke about. Okay? Fine. Now we're going to ask another question. Ika demotiv miseifa. Some people, they came and they asked it from the end of the Braita, Rabbi Akiva. Listen carefully. Rabbi Akiva comes and he says, Remember, according to Shittat Rabbi Akiva, right? The lender comes and he says it's 5. The borrower says it's 3. So he says you don't have to swear because he's doing Hashavat Aveda. He's doing a favor. He's coming, he's doing us a favor. He says Hashavat Aveda. Fine. Ta'ama de amar shalosh. It's only because he said 3. But if he said 2, right? Obviously he should be chayav, right? Even according to Rabbi Akiva. Ve'ashtar de kamodi bei ke'elach dami. The shtar in itself is like he's saying, helach, here it is. Shema mina helach chayav. So this is a proof, not like Rav Sheshat. This is a proof like Rabbi Chia, that this is considered that you're going to be chayav. Which means even according to Rabbi Akiva, that he said that it's going to be Hashavat Aveda. When is it Hashavat Aveda? Only on 3. Because you're admitting to an extra 1. But if you're going to come and you're going to do on 2, two, the document already obligated on two. There's no hashavat avida. So therefore you should be chayav. But now 1 second. If you're going to be chayav, since there's a document that's considered, it's like here, take it. So therefore, if it's considered here and take it, and you're still going to be obligated a shivua, according to Rabbi Akiva, so then this is a proof like Rabbi Chia, not like Rav Sheshat. So that's what we're saying. Answers the Gemara. Right? You with this or not? It's also logical to say such a thing. But if you're going to tell me right now, right, the shtaim, you're going to be chayav. B'shalosh hechi patel Rabbi Akiva. So if you're going to tell me now in shtaim, you're going to be chayav, so how are you going to be now, right, that Rabbi Akiva comes and he says that you're going to be patur? Hayrume kamarim, right, he's going to do harama. Savar iya min shtaim ba nishtavue. Ema shalosh tavi k'meshiva v'davi patar. Ela shemamina shtaim nami patur. He says like this. He says, really, Be'emet, I gave you the wrong assumption. I gave you the assumption that according to Rabbi Akiva, if you would have only said 2 and not 3, are you Meshiva Veda? No. Right? And therefore, since you're not Meshiva Veda, you're going to be Chayav by 2. Only by 3 are you Meshiva Veda. You're doing Ashavat Veda. So he comes and he says, but we're going to have a problem. He says, you know why? He's going to do Harama. You know what Harama is? I'm going to play a trick. I'm going to play a fast one. You know what the fast one is? I come and I think to myself, 1 second. I'm only obligated 2. And instead of me coming and saying 2, if I say 2, I'm going to be chayav. What should I say? I'm going to say I owe you 3. Purposely. Why? To be exempt from the shavua. So I'm going to come and I'm going to say I only owe you 3. I don't owe you 2.
What's he suing you for? 5?
For 5. So one more time.
So
you're suing me for 5.
Sela so he doesn't have to swear.
Exactly.
Well, a lot of people, back then it was a big deal.
No, but not only that he doesn't have to swear, but because he's going to get out of the 5. One more time. I'm suing for 5. 5 is the damages, or here it's a loan, right? But I'm telling you, you owe me 5. If you come and you tell me that I only owe you 2, you're going to have to swear. So you think to yourself, why in the world am I going to say I only owe you 2? I'm going to say I owe you 3, and then I don't have to swear, and then that's it. So you could ask for whatever you want. I'm only telling you 3.
Does this man who you're talking about, how much does...
So says the Gemara, Ela kashya le Rabbi Chia, but rather it's a question on Rabbi Chia. Why? Because now what's happening is that if right now we're saying that Helach is going to be, right, Modeh b'miktzat, and you're still going to be Chayav, here Rabbi Kiva is telling you that even if it's going to be 2, you're still going to be Patur. So answers the Gemara, Shana Atam, it's different over there. The Kamisel Ishtat. You have a document to help you. Inami, or another answer. Mishundav l'shtar shivu kakaot, and you never swear on shtar shivu kakaot. So basically, this entire thing was a deja vu. It was like a repetition. But now we were asking it on Shitat Rabbi Kiva, and which is a Seifa, and beforehand we were asking it on Shitat Rabbi Elazar, which was the Reisha, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, which was the Reisha. Okay? Next. Mativ Morzutra Bereder of Nachman. Morzutra, the son of Nachman, comes and he asks the following question. Te'ano kelim ve'karkaot. What happens if a person comes and he says, listen, you owe me utensils and land. Hoda bekelim ve'kafar ve'karkaot. Now, he admitted to the utensils, but he was kafar on the land. Hoda be'karkaot ve'kafar bekelim. Or the opposite case. He was modeh karkaot and he rejected, right, the utensils. He's patur from being modeh b'mitzat. But he says, Hoda b'mitzat karkaot patur. Right? If he's only going to be modeh and part of the karkaot, he's going to be patur. And if he's going to be modeh b'mitzat on the kelim, he's going to be chayav. Okay? That means basically what we're trying to do is that this is, by the way, the concept that we spoke about before, Gilgul Shavua. Right? What was the Gilgul Shavua? Because remember, on karka you don't swear. Right? So on karka you do not swear. But on kelim you do swear. Now here, right, you've got both. So do we do the concept of Gilgul Shivua, right, or not? So since you're Chayav Shivua on the Kelim, so you're going to be Chayav Shivua also on the Karka because of Gilgul Shivua. So Richard wanted a case when we started today's morning. You got your case, buddy. Yeah?
Well, I'm still twisted around pretty bad, Rabbi.
Iowa. Ta'ama, the reasoning why is because there's Kelim and also Karkaot. So since the Karka, right, the land is not but Shavua, right? So then it makes sense because obviously that's what we're talking about. Okay, because remember, when you're admitting on the Karka, the land, there's no such thing as Shavua. Ha-kelim v'kelim, dumya de kelim v'kakaot. But in the case of kelim and kelim, right, whether you're going to be modeh in a chelek and you're going to be kafar in chelek of them, So therefore, it's going to be chayav. Hechi dami, what's the case? Lav damale helach ushma mina ela chayav. We're not talking about that. Here it is, take it, and therefore you're still going to be chayav. Meaning, one more time, I come and I say I admit to part of the kelim, and you come and you give me 2 phones. I told you it was only 1 phone. Here it is. And isn't that not the case that you're going to be obligated to shavua? And therefore, this is going to be a proof to Rabbi Chia and against Rav Shashat. And says, no. Really, we were talking about kelim v'kelim. Nami patur. You're going to be patur. Kelim v'karkaot. Hoda b'misat kelim chayav afal karkaot. You're going to be chayav of because of gilgul shavua also on the karkaot. So says the Gemara, what is it coming to teach you? Obviously, what?
It's a good trick.
Yeah, 100%. He's saying, listen, it's obvious. So he says, zokekin, right? He says, at the end of the day, we're going to obligate him a shavua. So he says, Tanina, zokekin nechasim shelem achriyut, and the nechasim shelem achriyut lishav alehem. We're going to put them together with his basically properties which have guarantees, right? And properties that do not, which is going to be the metaltalin, the movable objects, right? We're going to put them together to swear. So why do we have to learn it again? So answers the Gemara, hacha ikar, right? Here in our Mishnah Shavuot, the ikar is the ikar makom. And that's why we brought it here. Meaning the main place to mention it is in Masechet Shavuot. Hatam in Masechet Kiddushin though, it's agav grara nasba, which means we were just bringing it derech agav. Okay? And therefore, since we're just bringing it derech agav, right, that's why we actually brought it. Meaning that even though we're learning it in 2 different places, right, many times this happens all throughout Shas. This is the main place, so we're going to learn it. And then later on, by the way, we're going to learn why do you have to teach it twice? No, you taught it twice because it's derech agav, and that's why we're doing it. And then we'll continue with Zat Hashem tomorrow.